What's up, everybody? I'm Nami, and this is part 5 to my 5-part travel series, Living Abroad. We've talked about finding community, we've talked about shared living abroad, we've talked about how to prep your mind, what kind of international travel routines you should be implementing while you're abroad, or anywhere for that matter. Today, I'm reflecting on my journey abroad and the destination I'm currently in, not just physically. So, when I first started this journey, I didn't really have a clear vision of what home meant for me. I just knew that I wanted to live life with intention. I wanted to experience different cultures, different places, and see how people lived their lives differently than me. I also wanted to let each place show me something about how I move through the world. I wanted travel to just support me in becoming who I am and who I wanted to be. It was a quest for me to not only learn about the world outside of me, but also myself in a deeper way. Each country reflected something different. My natural rhythms, my preferences, the kind of environments where I would feel most aligned, most alive and grounded. It really has been about expanding my awareness and refining who I am. And then through that expansion, I've really started to pick up what balances me and also what needs more attention and focus and consistency. Travel has immensely helped me strengthen my intuition. It's taught me how to listen, not just to my instincts, but to the energy of a place, to timing, to the flow of my own life. I've really had to put other people's perspectives, projections, fears to the side, even if they were valid, and really just trust that if I'm being called to a place, it's for a reason. And every single time it has been. When you're constantly adapting to new environments, you really learn how to tune into yourself differently. You only have yourself to rely on, so it's kind of not a choice. You realize that your peace is not tied to a certain location, it's tied to your alignment. And over time, I've found that alignment by developing routines and spiritual practices that grounded me wherever I was. It really became less about where I was traveling or how long I was staying there, and more about how I was showing up and who I was showing up as while I was there. The more I leaned into that, the more I could see where I needed to be more disciplined and where I could better support my peace and my creativity. And after years of movement, I'm starting to feel an innate sense of wanting stillness and stability in the form of a base, which that was always the goal. Of course, I have a daughter and I want a home. I actually want more than a home. I want land. I want a farm. I want a lot of things that require for long term stillness. But I guess I've just reached a point where the pull to travel a bunch of different places to find it has come to what seems like an end. I say seems like because my life is just crazy and I never know where it's going to take me. So at the moment, it does really feel like I am in the place that I need to be, which that is can be said all of the time. But I'm in the place where I want to be for multiple years, and that has not happened since I was traveling around the States, traveling around the world. I always felt like, okay, I want to do this here, and then it just ended up not being the case. But so far, I think the spot that I'm in now is really gonna be it for me, as far as a first home base. And I say home base, but I say that lightly because I don't mind having multiple. So for now, the first one is definitely in the makings to be here. And it also hasn't necessarily been about like settling down, but more about rooting and giving myself permission to build something steady in a place that feels right and a place that feels like longevity, especially after a season of being consistently on the move. It feels really good to choose stillness. And that doesn't mean that the adventure is ending by any means. It just means that it's starting to get deeper. So we're here in Puerto Rico, and even though it's not technically abroad, it has become my new home base. It's the first place that I have felt like I can exhale, the first place that I have decided I want a permanent home, and the first place that I really want to plant some energy. The energy that I've been carrying from all of the places that I live. I've just been gathering it up, putting it in my suitcase. And now that I finally found my home base, I'm like, okay, let's go. Being here so far has just really allowed me to deepen my connection to the island, to get more involved in my community, to move a little bit slower, and to just actually watch things grow. I noticed since I'm not in constant transition, I've really started to see the impact that my presence has on the people around me and the spaces that I'm in. I've been able to nurture my relationships. I've been able to be a bit more intentional. I'm not halfway out the door anymore. Not that I ever really was, but when you don't have a stable sense of like, okay, I'm here, I live here, I'm not going anywhere, it just leaves a lot more for your spirit to be able to dig in. I don't have any reason or desire to leave the island outside of temporarily for the foreseeable future. And so it's just allowing me to like really get in. I'm, buying furniture. I'm getting into different groups, different things. I'm making plans for things that are months in advance, next year or whatever, like I'm planting things. I am looking for my more permanent housing and thinking about getting a car. And yeah, it's a different type of air, because before I was never getting more than what my suitcase would be able to handle. I wasn't buying furniture and things, or if I was, it was like little things just to help make my life a little bit easier, and nothing crazy, things that I knew I could turn around and just sell or like give away. I mean, I'm not doing too much more outside of like actually getting furniture and stuff, which I could totally, if I needed to, like sell and give away, but it's just more intentional. I'm getting it and I'm thinking, okay, this is something that I would keep for a long time, that I would put in my permanent house. And yeah, it just has a different air to it. It has a different air, and I'm really enjoying it because I'm able to be a little bit more stable now, and because I have more of a permanent sense of self here on the island, a permanent sense of being, I guess you could say. It's been bringing a lot of clarity. I feel like my mind and my spirit has had time to just sit and not worry about, okay, where am I going to go next? What am I going to do there? Da 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 da. And everything that comes with just like being in transit. It's giving me a lot of room to think long term and to build towards a future that is on solid ground. It's giving foundation for new expansion. And again, this could be things that I could have done had I still been traveling. But when you're not in your own country and you're having to think about visas and where you want to stay and pay money and do all of these things, and it just made it was making things seem a lot more stressful than they needed to be. And even though, had I not moved to Puerto Rico, I was totally going to be doing that in Colombia. It doesn't have to be super hard or anything like that. There's definitely ways to do it and to do it well to make sure that it's foolproof. I could have given myself 5 years in Colombia, or like, I don't know, 10 years in Thailand or whatever. There's a way to make it long and accomplish the same things that I am doing here in Puerto Rico. But I just chose Puerto Rico as the location to do it. And so, yeah, it's just allowing me to sit and be stable. And this is kind of what I was wanting when I was traveling to Thailand and to Costa Rica and to Colombia. I was open to moving different places, but ultimately, like, I want to have my home base. I want to have my farm. I want to have the things that make sense for me and my spirit in my life. And travel is a big part of my life, and it always will be, but I always want a space to come back to. Multiple, honestly. If there is one thing that this journey has taught me, it's that freedom looks different in every season. Never did I think that I would be building a life here on the island, although when I was 10 years old, that is something that I really like set in my mind that I was going to do and prayed for it, that I was living on the island that my grandpa grew up on, and had my family, had my farm, and was able to just be like, I had that in my mind from so young. And somewhere along the way, I got rid of it and decided anywhere would do. And because of everything that has conspired on the island, because of the quality of life, because of how expensive it is, because of this, that, and the third, it just makes sense that right now is the time that I am here experiencing this and making the choice to be here. And I'm so glad that it lined up the way that it did. But I felt equally as free when I was hopping around from place to place. I just wish I could have like let go of one of my suitcases and only I traveled with a backpack. If I could travel with a backpack, now that I have a home base, traveling with a backpack or just traveling with like one carry-on in a tote bag, that is life. That is life. Not having to worry about it, being able to just send back stuff. Like, I love that type of travel, but I wasn't really able to do that type of travel because I had all of my things with me. And it was just an overall sense of like, okay, what am I doing next? Like, I had to always be thinking about the future, the next. And that's not to say that I'm not thinking about the future here, but it was just in a different way that seemed a lot more stressful. And as I kept going from country to country, I started realizing that this was not sustainable for me, and that at some point it also would not be sustainable for Wilder as a permanent living arrangement. So sometimes freedom can look like a one-way ticket. Sometimes freedom can look like staying exactly where the heck you grew up at and being completely fine with that. Like, I think sometimes we forget that that's what people did. Like, people did not travel in the way that we travel. They sometimes didn't even leave a few miles outside of their hometown. Like, they didn't have that luxury, and we do. And it is a glamorous lifestyle. It is a luxury for many of people. Many, 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 many. It's a luxury for me. And it definitely has been freeing. It for sure has been freeing. I have learned though that alignment doesn't always mean movement. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's knowing that you don't have to chase what's already meant for you. So, as I close out the series, I just want to say thank you very much for following along. I really, really hope that these videos helped you out in some way. If you are dreaming about living abroad, definitely go for it. It's calling you for a reason. Pick up that phone. pick it up. If you're wanting new experiences, go. If you're wanting to grow, go. If you're wanting to find your flow, go. There's so many freaking ways to do it. It's not unattainable. It is a luxury, but it's a luxury that you deserve and that you can definitely bring into fruition if it is calling you. Let it stretch you, let it teach you, let it show you how adaptable, how capable, how creative you really are. But also, don't overlook the value in being still and don't try to rush it. Some of the deepest transformation can happen while you are sitting the heck down. Anchor yourself. Even while you're traveling, you need to anchor yourself. Travel has given me freedom, and learning how to be still while I'm traveling has given me foundation that I will take no matter where I'm at. So here's to being restless and rooted, to knowing when to move and when to plant. The journey never ends, it just evolves. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next series.